We need to decide which monstrosity will have the privilege of survival. By the way, Jack. Joe Mama. Today we're going to be talking about villains who did nothing wrong. First one is, as you saw in the intro, Solidus Snake. Solidus Snake was the cooler twin of Solid Snake and Liquid Snake, even though he was his genetics were a bit fucked. He was completely grey by the time he was 37, I think Metal Gear Solid 2 takes place in. But, yeah, he was basically the only person who actually wanted to stop the philosophers. Anyone else who was against them was just sort of trying to get something in it for themselves. Like, Big Boss was angry that they cloned him. Volgin just took their money. He couldn't give any less of a shit about them. Who else? Ocelot was working for them the whole time. Yeah, he's basically the only actual good guy in the entire Metal Gear Solid series. And you killed him. Because the scary Skull AI people told you to. Do you feel bad? You should. Next we have Riva, specifically Riva in Fable 3, because Riva in Fable 2 was a bit of a dick, but you couldn't really consider him a villain, because, one, he was on the hero side, and two, he didn't really do that many villainous things. Like, he was greedy and selfish, but the only morally bad thing he really does is convince you to take the seal thing to the Shadow Council to take away your youth, which is reversible. Anyway, so yeah, Riva in Fable 2 was basically an anti-hero anyway, but Riva in Fable 3 could be considered a villain. I'm going to make the argument that he didn't really do anything wrong. That's going to be pretty difficult considering it's the same guy who did this.
Riva is exploiting us! We deserve fair pay! We demand better working conditions! We're workers! We're not slaves! Riva treats us like animals, and we're not gonna take it anymore. There's only one thing for it. We have to stand up to Riva!
But lying down is so much easier than standing up. My dear friends, in order to raise morale, I am offering prizes to the most deserving workers. The rules that will govern what I like to call the Riva Team Spirit Award are these. Firstly, any worker that so much as murmurs another complaint will be shot. Secondly, any worker who takes more than a 3-second break will be shot. Thirdly, any worker who breaks any other rules I have yet to formulate will, yes, you guessed it, be shot. You may return to work now. As you know, I'm a generous man and likely to start handing out prizes right away. So go on, shoo! Be off with you! Chop chop!
Here goes. Okay, to begin trying to understand Riva's actions here, under the assumption that they weren't just out of greed and selfishness, like, you know, just like in the second game, we need to take into account the sort of state the world was in right now. Logan knew that the Crawler and the Darkness was going to reach Albion very, very soon, so that's the reason he was being such a tyrant, like he was trying to raise up resources to save everybody. No doubt Riva would be privy to this information, because it's fucking Riva. He'd tell him anything necessary. So, if you think about it, it was for the best. Like, he was pushing these workers to be as productive as possible, so Riva could pay all the taxes to the crown, so they could pay Logan soldiers and pay for more soldiers, and etc, etc, you know, build defenses, shit like that. Like, Riva was a dick to save people's lives. And that's honestly heroic. Because the NPCs can't do the easy money-making scheme, which is just be a landlord, because that's fucking easy. That's the easiest thing in the world, in Fable 3 at least. Probably in real life as well. All you have to do is pay upkeep every few hours, and you basically have infinite money from people. But since he was the industrialist and he basically ran all of the industry, his job was vital, and he probably employed thousands upon thousands of people. And if he had to shoot a few protesters, a few people on strike to get them back to work and to help save the economy and then, by extension, save the world, I think that's a worthy sacrifice, to be honest. Feel bad for that bald guy, though. Also, he's voiced by Stephen Fry, so of course we can forgive him.
Go tally-ho, yibbity-dap and zing-zang spillit.
3 is Gary Smith from Bully, or Canis Canemedit, depending on where you live and what platform you played it on. Shit only starts to go wrong with him after the end of Chapter 1, which is conveniently when he stopped taking his medicine, because they put him on, like, antipsychotics. It's not actually stated what they put him on, but it's probably antipsychotics. So, yeah, he just needs to take his medicine and he would have been fine. Like, he still would have been a dick. Still probably would have bullied Pete and insulted you all day, but none of the other shit. Like running the school or turning everyone against you. All of that happened because he was paranoid. Because he was fucking mental and needed to take his medicine. Also, keep in mind, this guy's like 16 as well. Like, he's not some adult mastermind. He's just a very persuasive teenager who stopped taking his medicine. The last and final one is the Templars from Assassin's Creed. Now, if we look at the real Templars, they basically invented multinational banking, set up trade routes, etc., etc. Basically sort of set the foundations for the modern economic system, and I consider that to be a good thing. I know a few people might not, but I do. And even if we look at the video game Templars, like, what are they doing in the modern days? They're making video games. Whereas what are the modern day assassins doing? Fucking living in squalor and murdering people. So, that one's pretty obvious once you think about it. Can you think of any more? Tell me in the comments. But, in the meantime, special thanks to Stolen Dragoon, Ori Main, and Baby Kitschy, and all of my other patrons, and all of you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. You'll see me in my next video. See you later.